Hey, everybody, how you doing? Yeah, it was a rough one. Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. And not ideal, not exactly what we were looking for. And I think these two games against the Lightning, Kelly, really put into perspective. Like, the third periods of these games kind of were what they were. But it's not as if the Flyers were, like, dramatically outplayed in the first two periods of either of these games. Now, they need to be better about, like, just not giving up a goal in the first minute and a half of a period. Like, that would really help. Good. But it's not like they were dramatically outplayed. It's just, all right, if it's going to be a low-event game, like especially this first period, Tampa doesn't need that many opportunities, and the Flyers
do
need volume.
Yes.
There was a point in this game where Flyers had started to gain a little bit of offense, and JJ and Bush are like, but do you really want to be trading chances with this team? And like, no, for 25 minutes at a time, that's going to go badly for you. But you're going to have to take some risks and just hope your goalie holds up at the other end and you make one more play than they do. That's the only way to match a team with the sort of firepower that Tampa does, and they just couldn't do it over these last couple of games. It's not like chances were like, oh my God, Tampa's just killing them. It's really just the chances they got, most of them went in, and the Flyers, get one goal. And that's what it comes down to. 0 for 2 on the power play. Tampa 2 for 2, like, okay, yeah, that's just kind of it. They don't have the firepower to match a team like Tampa, even if, like, the overall team game, not terrible.
But also, I think you mentioned it at the start of the game. It seemed like the strategy for this one was to try to win 2-1 or 1-0 or something. And like, going into a game, I feel like with that strategy, when you have the Flyers' current defense as it is assembled, seems like a very stupid strategy to me.
It really did seem like both teams wanted a low-event game, but the Flyers, especially after getting burned the way they did, 4 points by Kucherov on Saturday, they wanted to, yeah, man, we're gonna have two guys back. It was gonna be that kind of game, and perhaps that is a strategy that could work for you if you don't allow a goal in the first minute and 10 seconds of the game.
Yeah, right.
All right, now we're trying to win 2-1. Well, there's 59 minutes left, and we've already given up the one. Like, yeah, that is, it's not really, it's a great idea until, they throw that little monkey wrench of, Pontus Holmberg gets the scoring started after 70 seconds. It's not going to work. You're going to have to open it up a little, and that whole first period, I mean, shots were 2-1, I think, before the 5-minute mark.
Yes.
It was like 5.5 minutes left, where Braden
2-1.
Point got those 3 consecutive shots, and Vladar made 3 awesome saves. At that point, shots were 2-1, and then they became, 5-1.
Yeah.
And from there, like 5 minutes left, the game kind of opened up in the first 15 minutes, it was just neutral zone hockey.
And then the other issue was that when the Flyers finally did get something together on offense, they were missing the net just like by a mile every time. Like, if you're getting shots, you got to put them on net. Like, this shouldn't be difficult for you to at least hit the net with a shot. And they seem to be missing quite a lot of them. And that's pretty frustrating when, like you said, you're playing from behind immediately. The least you can do is get a peck on net.
The event summary after the first period had them missing 2 shots, and I was like, that can't possibly be, because I could name 3 right away. Like, there was a Dvorak one, there was a Zegras one, and there was a Coots post that all missed. But right now, the event summary has 21 shots on goal, 14 attempts that were blocked, and 17 just straight misses. So 21 hit the net, and 17 you just flat out missed.
That's not good.
That's almost half. Like, that's cutting your opportunities in half there in a game where, again, you needed volume. And even against, listen, it wasn't Vasilevsky, but you still were going to need some volume just because the other team has so much firepower. They're probably going to convert some chances.
Right.
And you didn't give yourself a chance on, like, a third of your shot attempts, basically. That's not going to cut it. Not tonight. And it was a game of missed opportunities. Listen, I want to tell you about our Carnival giveaway before we go any further. You can still get in on this. There's still time to sign up. We are going to have 10 general admission passes given away, plus a sign and snap with Travis Sanheim and a sign and snap with Cam York. Get in. We're going to be giving these away shortly. Let's do tonight's. You know what? Let's talk about the officiating because that'll lead to unsung hero later. The reason the Flyers lost was not the officiating. A lot of this went on after the fact. JJ said they missed some slashes and stuff. I didn't think like the one TK was complaining about was terrible.
There's always stuff that they could call that they don't call.
But this was a lopsided officiated game.
Oh, yeah.
They just decided at one point, like, we're going to punish the Flyers, and Tampa can do no wrong. If Tampa commits a penalty, we're taking both.
Both, yeah, right.
If the Flyers do, we're only taking them. Like, there was the Hathaway thing where they only take him. Then they call both at the other end. There is 2 guys who instigated a fight with Abels, but somehow the Flyers get the only extra penalty from the double fight. That was awesome. We'll talk about that later. That was a ridiculously officiated game. And again, they lost this game well before the refs really put their hands on it.
Sure.
But I don't know. If your point to me is, well, we're just going to call you, we're not going to let this get out of hand, I make it more out of hand. If you're trying to do, well, if you do something, you're going to be shorthanded. I don't care. We're down 4-1. Who gives an S? Like, all right, well, guess what? Then I am actually going to make your night even more difficult. That would be my message to the team. Like, these refs have a dinner reservation. They're not going to make it. That's my message to the team. This third period is going to take an hour and a half. I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah,
because we get out of here. But, you know.
What's weird is, like, I feel like oftentimes when games get this lopsided, you could like point to something and be like, oh, that's where the Flyers pissed off the refs. That's why. But there wasn't really anything that egregious tonight. It was just like halfway through the game, they were like, all right, that's it. Everything the Flyers do is a penalty.
Like, Abels gets called for a boarding minor. All right, fine. One guy trips him and another guy starts fighting him. They clearly instigate a fight when guys are charging at him. And then somehow there's no instigator. There's 2 fights going on, and all right, that's fine. Crozier and Grebenkin get kicked out because you can't have like a bunch of guys fighting at once, whatever. But like, I don't know. I just know every single time there's like a board or a dirty hit and the Flyers retaliate, it's 17 minutes, a 2, a 5, and a 10 every single time. I've never seen it not called on them.
No, you're right.
2 games in a row now, this has happened. The other team somehow doesn't get an instigator. I just don't understand how this is a thing. But listen, again, it's not so much a reason they lost as it is just a minor frustration of mine because like
annoying.
the refs are bad.
Yes, it's annoying as a fan when you're watching a game.
Just call it right.
Call it right. Because
now this is the Flyers should look at. We have now had a guy, I think it was Hathaway a few games ago, last game or 2 games ago, lays a hit, someone comes after him, and no instigator. Like now, when the Flyers get boarded, I expect someone to be able to pummel the guy who does it, and there will be no extra penalty called. Like, that should be my expectation.
Right.
Because that's the way it's been called now twice in 2 or 3 games against the Flyers.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, this is like a global hockey problem.
Yeah,
like NHL
officiating
problem.
is super bad.
It's terrible because they allow them to just decide that we're going to manage the game rather than call the rule book. And it's like, you have the rule book. We all know the rules. Everybody knows them. Just call penalties when you see them. It's not that difficult.
Well, we can't call too many against one team.
Right, no, we got to even it out.
Because, like, even though they're not good enough to keep up, that's why they're committing all these penalties. We got to keep the game close.
Yeah.
Because we'll lose viewers. All right, on the other side, we're going to have tonight's unsung hero. It's one of our 2 fighters. So stay tuned for that. But first, we got to take our first break. All right, everybody, listen up. I got to tell you how I start my day each and every morning. I start at my Wawa. Now, this might be an ad read, but I think everyone watching right now has to know how much I love Wawa. And now, Wawa's giving us yet another reason to love them. It's the $5 Big Breakfast Deal. For just $5, you can get any sizzly breakfast sandwich, any size hot or iced coffee, plus a hash brown every morning from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's right, a breakfast sizzly, a coffee, and a hash brown for just $5 from your local Wawa. That's value, that's convenience, and that's deliciousness all together in one deal. And while you're picking up your coffee, check out the brand new Caramel Chocolate Craze coffee flavors. You can try caramel, you can try chocolate, or you can mix both together for a sweet treat that will start your morning off right. The $5 Big Breakfast Deals for a limited time and exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on your day with Wawa. Gotta have a Wawa. It's time to tell you about Xfinity, because I gotta ask, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken. We hate contracts. Well, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Go Birds. Oh, man, that Go Birds. I think we might need to re-record. Yeah, maybe it's gonna come full circle. Like, all right, it's about the Phils and the Flyers and the Sixers, and like by next week, it's just gonna be like, yeah, I guess we got to be rooting for the Eagles again, even though their season doesn't start till September.
That's how Philadelphia works.
Yes, it is. It is the blessing and the curse. There's always something to be rooting for, and there's always something to be mad at. But I want to, let's get to tonight's Unsung Hero, presented by Togo. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Togo. Just not a ton happened tonight for the Flyers. So, like, finding a sung hero, let alone an unsung, was difficult. But I'm going with Nikita Grebenkin because he was like the most entertaining part of the game. His fight, along with Rodrigo Abel's couple simultaneous fights going on, was great. And I just have to refer to Siobhan Nolan's tweet about Nikita Grebenkin. It says, Grebenkin is a dog, throwing punches and taking Crozier down on the ice, and didn't stop smiling the whole time, even stuck his tongue out at Crozier after the refs broke up the brawl. I do really like this dude. Like,
He's fun.
I don't know if I would categorize the first half of his first full season as anything but maybe a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
But also, Garnet Hathaway also didn't score a point in his first 35 games or so. Mm-hmm. It's kind of tough to judge what that fourth line is. In a few limited opportunities, it looked like he stepped up when he got chances in the top 9, but maybe didn't do enough to stay there. I don't know, but I do want to see more of him because it does seem like he brings several different elements. And this is his second or third fight this year for Grebenkin. We saw him do it in Toronto a couple times in his brief time up there last year. I enjoy watching this guy play hockey and want to see if he can grow a little here in the second half.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if he's anything more than a fourth liner, but I also don't know that he needs to be. He's a lot of fun. And, when you're watching a game like this, the least you can do is get a little bit of fun out of somebody. And I feel like he's the kind of guy that's always going to bring it. And he's like a bit of a throwback. Like, he reminds me of 2010 Dan Carcillo, or like I said earlier, he looks like a member of the 1999 Philadelphia Phantoms. Like, he's just a goofball, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, he's got the flow, and like Siobhan tweeted, he's always smiling. Yeah. He's really funny. He just seems like a hockey player. Everyone knows the forecheck, back check, paycheck thing. Like, I just want to see this guy get a little bit more. Now, he has to take advantage of the opportunity. Sure. But I want to see him get a little bit more. And in a game where the Flyers score one unassisted goal by Christian Dvorak, and It just not a ton has gone right for them over the last few nights. The offense has stagnated after being pretty damn good since mid-November. I want to give it to Grebenkin, tonight's unsung hero presented by Togo. Let's give it to Nikita Grebenkin because without those fights, this was not an entertaining game.
It sure wasn't.
It was.
It was a stinker.
There were 5.5 minutes, like 5:40 or so left in the first period, and shots were 2-1. 3 total shots on goal. That was both teams. It was very much I tweeted at one point a screenshot of Tiemann and Coburn in the defensive zone against Tampa, just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
And it reminded me of that.
That would have been better.
I mean, that was this was at least a neutral zone game. That was a trap where they didn't have one forechecker, which was, I think, should probably be illegal. Somehow the Flyers got called for delay a game there. But that was just kind of it started to open up. It opened up and there was some physicality and some ref stuff, guys frustrated with each other. So that was fun because they've played each other 2 nights or 2 out of the last 3 nights. But other than that, it wasn't exactly a high event game.
No, it was not what I was hoping to see. Like pregame,
No.
you were pretty confident there was going to be a win. I thought they would at least show out a little bit better. I thought for sure we were going to get a goal out of Konechny for the reasons that you came up with, and they just stunk. And it's annoying when they stink 2 games in a row.
All right, so let me ask you this. This is now 3 losses, 2 in regulation in a row, and we went over, they're really good after a regulation loss typically.
Yeah, I don't think they've lost 2 in a row in
They've
regulation.
one other time this season, like mid-November.
Gotcha.
Do you think this is the beginning of the decline? Or is this, like I said in pregame, I think it's, this is kind of what the East is. You win some... You win 3 in a row, you lose 3 in a row. It just kind of, that's what the East is this year. Kevin Kurz had the tweet, they're, certain really good record after a regulation loss, but then after a win, they're the opposite, basically. And it's just kind of alternating wins, and it's going to be about who extracts the most loser points, who can win a few extra games in regulation, who has the tiebreaker.
What a league.
That's what it's going to come down to. And not just for the wild cards. That is what 2nd and 3rd in the division is going to be decided by as well.
The thing is, though, I think the Flyers' position and all of that was, pretty tenuous from the start. It depended on the goaltending being good. So it only works when Vladar is in net. The defense needed, all these injuries now have kind of exposed all of the weak spots that the team still currently has. And if the injuries continue, if we don't get Drysdale back in 7 days, which maybe we will, I know he's been skating, but concussions are weird. Who knows what's going to happen?
No, he could be great for 6 days, and then on the day he's going to be, taken off IR, or he could wake up with a headache, and we have to start back at, step 1.
Yeah, Forster out for this long is a real problem, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody else gets hurt, and that's it for them. So I feel like the Flyers' position in this weird house of cards that is the Eastern Conference was real shaky at best. It depended on everything really going right for them, and right now it's not. And if it continues that way, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 5 in a row.
And that's what gets me to the Dan Vladar situation tonight. Not Vladar's best game. I don't know how many of those goals I'd really put on him.
He was better than his numbers.
You almost jumped out of your skin to say he was better than his numbers.
Gives up 4. I was so excited.
Gives up 4 on 25 shots for an .840. One of his worst games of the season. He rarely gives up more than 2 goals in a game. Fared better, I would say, than Ersson did the other night.
Well, he made a lot of actual saves. There were times that, if Ersson was in net, it would have been 7 or 8 again.
Sure.
Vladar kept some pucks out.
I really don't have a ton of concern about Vladar's play. I don't think he's going to have another one of these for a while. He's earned that trust from me, at least for now. What I do worry about is the injury concern and the workload that I have been harping on since a month ago, because we are like there. We're basically at his career high in starts. He's like two or three away, I think.
Yeah.
You see him come up a little lame tonight. It's like, I think 4-1 at the time. Should they have just taken him out?
Yes.
Because they're not going to have any chance if Ersson has to start. Even if it's like a short term, we put him on IR for a week. This is a 4-game week. Like, if he misses 4 straight games, they have no chance.
Yeah, I don't
They're
know.
going to lose 3 of them.
I don't know. I mean, you and I definitely, you're pulling him because it's like, this game's lost. This guy is the only thing keeping this thing together. We can't lose him. If he's shaking his leg, we're going to let him rest it.
I'm optimistic about where this season could go.
Sure.
But like you said, much of it hinges on this guy that we're not sure if he can handle a number 1 workload, staying healthy and maintaining like a 9-10 save percentage.
How often does an NHL coach actually make that move, though, if the guy's not like actually hurt is the problem? Because as we've said 1,000 times, it's very obvious that Rick Tocchet's only motivation is winning games, which, like, fair. Winning games is good.
He's the coach. That's his job description.
But he's going to make choices, I think, more often than not, that kind of like don't pay any attention to the future and only focus on this particular game. And the fact that they pulled the goaltender with, when they were down 4-1, like, they thought they were going to do something.
Maybe you get a quick one, and then you get...
Game was over, dude.
No, and that's my, like...
Yeah.
In 120 minutes, these last 2 games, you managed 41 total shots. Like, you were never coming back in this game. It's 4-1, you're not coming back. To me, that's yes, you did leave Ersson in there to eat the 7 the other night, and so
as you should have, he earned it.
It's rough, but yeah, like you just saw it happen in Jersey the other night. Like, sometimes we gotta hang one on you, man. Like, it happened to Markstrom, and he's like allegedly their number 1. Jake Allen's been the guy this year, but like Markstrom got left in there to eat 9 goals. I get why they did it to Ersson, but maybe that comes into the thinking, like, I don't know, we just left him in there for 7. Can we now pull Vladar? But, like, it's not just, let's rest him. Like, maybe you do that in a playoff game or something. Like, well, he has to play again tomorrow. Right. So let's just take him out because this is over. But this one he's, like, shaking his leg and trying to, I don't know. If he gets hurt, if he misses a month, you sell. Like, and like, I am no longer on like the tank and get in there, but that becomes, if he's hurt, we now tank, because trying to win is stupid. Like, that means trade Risto.
Who are you selling?
That means,
I was gonna say, who are we selling, bud?
You see if someone would trade for that Dvorak contract immediately.
You think?
Absolutely, they would.
Who's this person?
I mean,
can we call them now?
Everybody needs the entire league needs centers. Everyone's looking for 2 and 3 Cs.
Yeah, but no, I think everybody else would be like, oh, wait a minute, Christian Dvorak has only been this good for 5 minutes. Maybe 5 years is a little too long to be committed to him.
I think you're giving NHL GMs way too much credit. Like,
get Bill Guerin on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, like the best GMs, like the guys who run the Olympic teams, and like, listen, I don't want to give Bill Guerin too much crap because he did just make like the best move of the last several years. But like, Quinn Hughes available, you do it. Like, that is very much like the Zegras trade in my mind, where it was, I don't care if you don't even like Zegras. If the asking price is paling and 2 non-first round picks, like, you just do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you like him or not.
No.
It's just the potential's there. But like, I just think you could move anyone on this roster. But if Vladar's hurt, that's the season.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, that's it. Sam Ersson stinks, and listen, it looks like Kolosov and Bjarnason are having nice seasons in the AHL.
AHL.
Yeah, it's the AHL. It is much, much different. Again, I was talking about Devin Levi pregame.
Right.
Check out his AHL numbers. Check out his NHL numbers. They are vastly different, and he's been credited as their goalie of the future. All right, on the other side, we are going to talk to Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. But first, let's take that second break. Listen, we all know how easy it is to blow through your budget during the holidays. You're buying gifts, you're traveling, you're entertaining, you're hosting. It's very easy to let financial opportunities slip through the cracks, and that's why you got to use Monarch. If you want to keep your finances under control this time of year, you need to be using Monarch because it's Wall Street Journal's #1 budgeting app of 2025, and Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. That's right, half off. No more guessing, no more hiding, no more, I didn't realize I spent that much. That doesn't happen with Monarch, so don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. Do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, time, or money. It doesn't make any sense. You want to keep your stars focused on doing what they do best, and the same goes for your business. Togo can help any business looking to streamline operations become more efficient or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, Togo takes it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. And every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping and engineering. Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins. With programs starting as low as $1,000 a month, you're not going to break the bank. And each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. Togo! All right, and now we are joined by Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. All right, Chuck, what'd you think of that one?
Wasn't that fun, Charlie? Wasn't that thrilling?
If you thought that was fun, Kelly, I'm curious to hear your definition of what fun is.
Dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Driving
like
pins into my eyeballs for funsies.
Yeah, that was rough. That was it was a rough game, and it's also just frustrating because obviously Saturday's game was also rough, and this game, I guess by the score, not quite as bad, but pretty darn close. 5-goal loss versus a 4-goal loss. I guess giving up 5 goals versus 7, it's a slight improvement. Look, I don't know what the tenor of your post-game show has been. I honestly don't even know what the feeling from fans online is because I've kind of just tried to avoid that. I got the sense that some people were very angry, and I guess my view coming out of these two games is like, look, like they're losing, so I get it. You know, feel free to get angry, fan it whatever way you want to fan, but. And I posted this on Twitter. My 2 takeaways from these 2 losses. I guess you can lump the Toronto loss, even though they get a point out of that one, but you can lump that in as well because it is a 3-game losing streak. Takeaway number 1 is that this team's power play is at some point, you know, whether it's going to be game 76, game 82, game, 86, 87, 88, at some point, this power play is going to be the death of this team because it's just really bad. And eventually they're going to reach a point where it being really bad is going to bury them like it did tonight, like it did against the Maple Leafs. And then number 2, it's just that Tampa's way better than the Flyers. Like Tampa's a really, really good team that is on fire. So they're a top tier team that's just playing very cohesive hockey because they're feeling it right now. They've won 10 straight games. And the Flyers, well, I don't think the Flyers are a bad team. They are not a really, really good team.
No.
I don't think anybody would act like they are a really good team. And this just cements that, we could talk about like, well, they had the 6th best points percentage in hockey. They're doing so well. They're in a playoff spot. Like, just as I said a few weeks ago, like you watch teams like Chicago, you watch them play against Chicago, you watch them play against Vancouver, and you're like, that's a bad team. And the Flyers are very clearly not that. These 2 games, you saw what a really good team looks like. And the Flyers are also not that. And to me, that was my big takeaway from these 2 games, is just that, like, yeah, Tampa's just a lot better, and they played like it.
And that's, like, to me, the third period of both of these games kind of were what they were. The Flyers didn't even play that much worse than Tampa. Like, it's not like they killed them in the first 2 periods of either of these games. It's just like Tampa only needs so many opportunities and the Flyers need more. And that leads to what you were saying about the power play, Chuck. I want to, yes, the power play is going to be the death of this team, but from a pure content standpoint, for the three of us, is it even worth talking about anymore? Like, I don't even know what to say about this power play. It is as pointless as the actual power play is. Like, there doesn't seem to be a solution. We went over this last week. How many coaches, how many personnel changes? It just continues to suck. You get Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov. You think, all right, this has to be better, right? No, it's actually, in fact, worse. They are now 9 for their last 75.
Oh, boy.
What the hell can we even say about this power play? It's beyond fixing.
Well, see, I disagree with you on that. Yeah, and here's why. Because I know it's easy to just be like, well, it's been bad for the last 5 years. They had different coaches, whatever. And I guess that is just a very fatalistic, like, well, whatever you slap on the Flyers power play, regardless, it's just going to stink. But, like, it's not as if they're not changing up personnel. It's not as if, like, this isn't a case of, it's been the same roster for the last 5 years. It's not as if like it's been the same core. Like they've turned over a lot of things, and just regardless of what they do, the power play stays bad. But the fact that they continue to turn over players, the fact that they have new guys, the fact that like Trevor Zegras is now the top scorer on the team, it tells me that there is something to be unearthed. And maybe it's not an elite power play. Maybe they just don't have that kind of talent. But they have enough guys for it to be passable. And maybe this solution is just like none of the coaches they've had have just done a good job. And, or maybe it's the players. Maybe there's something that has infected the team where, because there are guys, there are still carryover, that those guys get frustrated, and then their frustration, which has been building for years, then infects the guys who are new, and then everybody gets frustrated. I don't know. But like, I look at the guys they have on this team, and don't get me wrong, there are inherent flaws in terms of personnel. They don't have, as we've talked about, they don't have that power play quarterback up top, that guy with either the big shot or the really good vision. They don't have that. They don't have a clear-cut net front guy. So there are missing pieces, to be sure. But there are teams, and we talked about this a lot last year when we were ripping Rocky Thompson on the regular. There are teams with less talent, teams that aren't as deep, teams that don't have at least guys like Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov that have significantly better power plays than the Flyers. I don't want to say like what more can you say, because to me it's unacceptable, not because they don't have a 26% power play, but because it's not even like approaching 20. And that's why it has to continue to be said, because presumably there are solutions to be found to at least get them to base level competency. They're just not finding them. And by I don't just mean the coaches, I mean the players too. And I'm going to keep criticizing them until they find out, until they find those solutions. And if they never find those solutions, I'm just going to keep criticizing them until the end of the year, I guess.
Like, they're at 12% since mid-November. It's truly, and which is insane.
That's wild.
It's insane considering in the same time frame, they're, I think, 11th in scoring overall. Like, if this team had a power play, the offense would be legitimately good, but they just don't.
And just to follow this up, like the reason why it's so frustrating, even just from a media person perspective, to watch the power play be so bad is because the rest of the team isn't. It would be one thing if this was just a bad hockey team. If this was a team that just overall, they're just bad, they're in the bottom 5 of the league, and you're like, okay, like, yeah, the power play stinks, but everything stinks. But they're not. I mean, these two games aside, obviously Tampa's just better, but they have enough good things going for them that you say to yourself, like, okay, how did you fix the defense? How did you fix a lot of things? And you still can't fix the power play. And again, it's just going to remain that question that is continuously asked them until they actually, and again, we're not asking for it to be great. We're just asking for it to be passable. I don't think that's too much to ask, but for the last 3-4 years, it has been too much to ask.
18.5%. That's all I'm looking for. Go ahead, Kelly.
Charlie, hi, it's Kelly, big fan.
Hey, Kelly.
Do you think that the Flyers headed into this game with the idea that they were going to try to win like a 1-0, 2-1 game, like a low event, grind it out kind of hockey game? Because it seemed to me the way that they were playing didn't seem like there was a ton of urgency as far as the offense went from the start of the game. And obviously going down 5 seconds into the game is not going to help you. But did it seem to you like that was the strategy going into this game? Or do you think that was just kind of like how it played out on the ice.
I think in the beginning of the game, they were making a concerted effort to go more north-south. I track zone entries, and they were doing a lot more dump-ins than usual. Like, the Flyers are a dump-in oriented team, but I think I have their percentage for the season up at around 45%, which is, more dump-ins over in terms of controlled entry rate. So more dump-ins than controlled entries, but not like dramatically so. I don't have them at like 38%. In the first period, I had them at 29.6% controlled entry rate, so they were going heavy on the dump-ins. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was intentional, at least just the idea of like, let's keep the puck as far away from our own goal as possible by just getting it in deep and playing essentially, possession oriented keep away. Wouldn't be surprised if that was part of it. By the same token, they did open things up. By the end of the first period, they were creating some chances. The second period, I thought they were actually at 5-on-5 playing pretty well in the second period, to be honest with you. So I don't think that was, it's hard to say, like, was that their goal? I'm sure they wanted to tighten it up a bit. Like, they gave up 7 goals 2 nights before. You obviously don't want to do that again. That's surely part of it. And that if you give this Lightning team, this is something Tocchet said in pregame this morning and postgame, that this Lightning team does not need many 2-on-1s to score. Like, he's basically like, we need to get a bunch of 2-on-1s. We need to get 5 2-on-1s to get 1 goal. They might need only 1 or 2 because they're just really good at executing. So what do you do in those situations? Well, either you try to like get 10 odd man rushes to their 4, or you limit odd man rushes all around, which I do think was probably part of their plan. But by the same token, I don't think they were like, yeah, let's win this game 1-0. I think they were trying to tighten things up a little bit. I don't think they were trying to, reduce the game to a slog. I asked Nick Seeler after the game, like, did you guys make any dramatic, game plan adjustments for the second game? And then did they just adjust to those adjustments? Or did you guys pretty much have the same game plan both games? And he said, honestly, like, look, we match up and do things like that, but it was pretty much the same game plan both games. It's all just execution. Like, we just didn't have the execution. So I lean more towards no, that it wasn't like, oh man, we got to completely tear up our playbook and do something totally different. More so like, well, we just got embarrassed giving up 7 goals. So like, let's not do that again. So let's maybe be a little bit tighter. And then when they go down, then they have to open it up because they're down. They're down 2-0. And it's like, well, guess we got to try to score. And then the same thing happens and they ultimately give up 5.
All right, Charlie. In the third period, looked like Dan Vladar got a little banged up. He was testing his legs, stretching it out at a point. Okay. It's 4-1 at the time. Could they have pulled him there just to be like, hey, if Ersson has to start for a month, the season's over?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice that. I feel like that's probably a Brian Boucher goalie television pickup more than anything.
They made a big deal about it on the broadcast.
Oh, they did. I didn't notice anything. It didn't seem terribly serious to me.
Okay.
But I guess maybe if he was hurt, sure, pull him. Game was basically over. But I personally didn't notice anything terribly concerning, so it's kind of hard for me to comment on that. We didn't ask for Vladar on the board because none of us really noticed anything. So it's not as if he like purposely turned us down. We just didn't put him on the board. So they're good. One thing that is interesting though, so we are given a practice schedule. This has nothing to do with Vladar. It just will explain why I'm going to say, like, we'll find out tomorrow. We're given a practice schedule at the start of every week. And the practice schedule that we were given at the start of this week said that they had a full day off tomorrow. Well, then as Rick Tocchet was leaving, the PR guy says practice tomorrow at noon. So this very much was a like, oh, okay, well, you didn't skate during the game. You're going to skate tomorrow. So I don't think they were originally intending to practice tomorrow. They now are. So we will see if Dan Vladar is on the ice for practice tomorrow. My guess is he will be. I'm not terribly concerned, but I guess we'll see.
Well, that leads well into my next question, Charlie, because you've been around this team, several iterations of it. I feel like you have a good feel for just the tenor of things. Right now, they've lost 3 in a row, 2 in regulation. Really good teams playing well, but some of their best hockey of the year. Is this just, we lost to Toronto, we lost to Tampa twice, so be it, we carry on? Or do you think this might be the beginning of the decline?
Well, I think these next few games are going to really decide that, because where I'm at is right now, I don't think this is necessarily the time to panic. I think all of these games, like Toronto game, could go either way. Tampa's a really good team playing its best hockey. So I'm not going to lose my mind over this. But Then you play Buffalo. They're a team you very well might have to battle for a wild card spot. Then you play Pittsburgh, a team that you might have to battle for the third spot in the Metro or a wild card spot. Then you got the Rangers, who, like, yeah, they're a mess, but hey, they have, I guess, in theory, the talent to like go on an 8-game winning streak at some point in March and put themselves back in the race. So like, these are 3 teams that in April you could be battling with for a spot. So if you then lose 2 out of 3 out of this run, or God forbid 3 out of 3, then yeah, then it's time to panic. Right now, no. I think if they go out there and they beat Buffalo in regulation on Wednesday, then no, then these games really were no big deal. But if you lose the back-to-back, if you lose to Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and then you have to go away, you have to beat the Rangers for it just not to be a total disaster of a week, then yeah, then you have to start wondering if this is the beginning of the downturn. But I think with their play so far this year, I think they've, in my mind, maybe other people won't share this, I think they've earned enough leeway not to kill them for losing to the hottest team in hockey and one of the best teams in hockey over three days. I'm not going to kill them for it. Now, depending on how the back-to-back goes, I may start killing them for it. But for now, I'm not going to kill them for it.
That's where I am. They have at least enough leash with me that I'm willing to wait and see. But I am seeing a lot of like, and here comes the 10-game losing streak. But of course, you know.
Also, you're spending too much time on social media.
We're due, though, Charlie. It's been a while.
That's where the fans are, Charlie. That's where the people talk to us.
Is it actually, or is it just where a very small part of the fans are?
Well, I don't know where to find them otherwise, Chuck. I'm here. I'm not at the stadium. I guess I could just walk into Wawa and start asking people in Flyers hats. But until then, that's where people are reacting. All right.
Okay.
Time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. The Flyers score 1 unassisted goal in this game. Wow. So let's see where he goes with this one. Charlie, who is star number 3?
Yeah, this was tough. I guess for third star, I'm going to go with Rasmus Ristolainen for making one really good play.
That delayed penalty. Rasmus Ristolainen looked like Trevor Zegras on steroids. I've never seen him do anything like that, and he was awesome for like the whole shift.
Yeah, it was a really good shift. He put pucks on net. Not many people did much, but hey, he had 4 shots on goal. That led the team. So sure,
there you go.
Ristolainen, third star.
All right, who is star number 2?
Star number 2, I am going to go with Christian Dvorak. You know why? Because he scored a goal. Yeah. And credit to him on that goal, because
it's nice.
I was fully expecting Dvorak to try to force a pass, even though, and like, this is no disrespect to Nick Seeler, but let's be honest, Nick Seeler is not a finisher. He's not a point producer. When you're on a 2-on-1 and the other guy is a stay-at-home defensive defenseman, you should take that shot. And I've seen all too many times, players in the Flyers over the last 15 years passing up shots on a 2-on-1 to pass it to a guy who probably doesn't have a scoring touch. So credit to Christian Dvorak for realizing, I hope he realizing basically that, yeah, maybe Nick Seeler isn't the kind of guy you force a pass to on a 2-on-1. Maybe I should take this all the way. And he has a nice short side shot. So Christian Dvorak for getting that goal. He's second star.
Truly amazing what happens when you actually get the shot on net. 21 hit the goalie tonight, 17 flat out misses. Tremendous.
Hey-o.
But one guy hit the actual back of the net. All right, who was star number 1?
Star number 1 is Nikita Grebenkin.
Yeah!
Because that fight was a lot of fun to watch. That was very enjoyable. I'm glad that, like, this is one of those times where, there are a lot of people that paid good money to go to this game, and they didn't get to watch good goal scoring hockey. They didn't get to watch the Flyers, play a competitive game on the scoreboard. At least they got to watch some zaniness. At least they got to watch some chaos, and Nikita Grebenkin brought the chaos. So I'm giving him first star for that. That was a lot of fun.
It was, and I wrote in my instant reactions, my final note, this team should just be win or fight. You're going to entertain us one way or the other, win or fight. Before I let you go, did Tocchet mention the officiating at all?
Not really. Some of the guys were asked about it, the questionable calls.
What is an instigator, for instance?
They mostly brushed it aside. It was more just like, hey, we need to be more disciplined. We can't lose our cool, things like that. So no one really went to war on the officials. The only guy who I was interested to hear what he had to say from more of an officiating standpoint was Travis Konechny, and he declined to talk. So
Probably smart. He wants to keep his money, so that's a good idea. I just wondered, like, if anyone had any idea what an instigator is, because when two guys jump someone, that's usually 17 minutes against the Flyers. Nothing for Tampa tonight. Odd. All right, that is Charlie O'Connor, Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. See you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, Chuck.
Bye, Charlie.
All right, sounds good. Bye, gang.
All right, and with that, we got to take our final break. If you're in the market for a Chevy, you got to check out Elkin Chevrolet, because Elkin Chevrolet is run by three brothers, real brothers, who are local guys. And yup, they're big Flyers fans, so you know they're loyal. And if you've been watching this season, you know what kind of hockey it's been. Nothing's easy, working hard for every inch of the ice. That's how these guys run their business too, with hard work. And right now, Elkin Chevrolet has a big inventory of new Chevy trucks and SUVs, the stuff people around here actually want to drive, and they're priced to move. No games, no runaround. You come in, you get a straight answer and a great price. Whether you're heading to the game, heading to work, or just trying to get home after a long day, they'll get you into the right ride at the right price. And this isn't a one and done place. These are the guys you go back to because they treat you right. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honkin' good service. Located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey, Elkin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive and let's go Flyers. Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win in the BetParx online casino app. You got to check out brand new games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, a BetParx exclusive. You can play blackjack, you can play roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption and 88 Fortune. Play all your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are, and new users right now get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You can even play hot online slots based on your favorite streaming shows like The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. All your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. It's the only app I ever use to play all my favorite casino games right in the palm of my hand. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, it's time for tonight's Game Changer, driven by Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevrolet, together, let's drive. And I know the last couple Game Changers have been like negative. I don't know if this is necessarily negative. It's just pointing out something that happened.
Okay.
Trevor Zegras has now gone 3 straight games without a point, first time this season. And the offense that had been humming since about mid-November in these 3 games hasn't exactly been humming since Kelly Hinkle. He is very much this team's best overall player. He is their offensive driving force. The offense most nights is him and whoever happens to have a game that exceeds expectations. The Game Changer, like I don't think he's going to be in a 10-game pointless drought or anything. He's just too good. He creates too much. But I will say, like, in terms of Game Changer, is this changing your opinion of, like, 8 years, whatever he wants? Because that was my opinion when really after the Ducks game. Like, I do think this is a good reason as why you don't sign a guy in the middle of a hot streak. Like, let's see how it goes. But it's just very obvious that this team can't score if he's not going.
Maybe you sign him now while he's a little bummed out. Maybe you can save like $750,000 or something.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't changing my opinion of him at all. Especially these last 2 games have just been stinkers, top to bottom, just bad games. And I don't think, I think you have to be like Connor McDavid level to overcome the entire team just playing in mud. And I don't think we can expect Trevor Zegras to put the team on his back every single night and single-handedly win games. It would be nice if somebody else would score a goal or 2.
I will tell you what I have liked about the last couple of games, and it's come because of injuries or guys getting kicked out or whatever. But Tocchet has, given the opportunity the last few games, figured out ways to get Zegras shifts playing center which he was doing in the beginning of the year. I mean, at one point he was a center, and then that lasted not very long.
No.
But he was finding ways like, okay, we'll get you shifts out there with michkov and whoever. And then they got away from it for like all of November and December, basically. Now they're back to figuring out, at least in these circumstances, when they've lost guys, we need to mix and match. I do like that they're at least attempting to work towards it, even if it's just a shift here and there. I think that's a good sign that they haven't completely abandoned the idea. I will say, though, like, he's been so good on the wing.
I know, but what if he could also be good at center after a little bit of a bumpy transition period? And what if we're not willing to let him have a bumpy transition period, and so we're never really going to see it? That's what I worry about.
I just think it comes down to he's got to show he can do it a little in order to get more, and I do think it's gone pretty well. I know last game, I haven't looked at the advanced stats, and I don't know how many shifts they even got, but I think it was, again, michkov and Grebenkin were his wingers. I think it went pretty well in the first Tampa game. So maybe this leads to a little bit more of that. Because we talked about this earlier in the season, too. Getting Grebenkin, okay, he's on your fourth line, but he can be a physical presence down low. He can give you a little bit more skill than you think. Maybe we have a top 10 instead of a top 9, and this is a way to kind of serve to, all right, let's get Grebenkin a few more shifts. How do we do that? We do it on the shifts where we have Zegras playing center.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's a way to kind of serve two things that we want to see a little bit more. I'm just using the game changer tonight to talk about Zegras because he is on this 3-game slump. It's also the first 3-game slump he's had this season, which is pretty incredible. It's not something I'm worried about, but I do think like it does show you just sign him now and get it done for forever.
Yeah.
There is a reason not to get guys done in the middle of hot streaks. Now, you know, they did do it with Dvorak. They did it a few years ago with Tippett. Maybe not the smartest idea, but and then doing it to the guy who's like actually really good.
I was going to say, that's the problem, Bill. We do it with the mid guys.
Living up to potential rather than like exceeding expectations and surprising you. But regardless, I'm not going to rip Danny tonight. I like the job he's done overall for the most part. But I just wanted to figure out a way to spotlight Zegras because it's not going awesome right now, but also I think he's earned a 3-game slump, if you're going to call it, call it that. All right, a couple of minutes before we get to Super Chats, I want to tell you to hit that like button. Listen, you don't like how the game went tonight, but you're sitting here watching the show, hit the like button. It's not going to cost you anything. It's completely free. Just hit the like button. I did want to get your thoughts on Rasmus Ristolainen because I don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow or not, but of course you're invited as always. Now, I don't think he's been playing great outside of he did have an amazing shift on that delayed penalty. He was just like puck handling through his legs and whatnot. But we have heard that although they might not be in sell mode, they may be trying to turn the corner of this rebuild. The Flyers are very much shopping, or at least, hey man, we're up, in case you were wondering. They're willing to move Rasmus Ristolainen if you meet their price, much like Scott Lawton.
I mean, as they should, because here's the thing, and I think that Danny Briere is smart enough to know, based on what we've seen from Risto in obviously very limited time this season, that perhaps whatever magic spell Bradshaw cast on him during his time here seems to be falling apart a little bit. And I think you got to if you're going to get him moved, you got to get him moved while people might still have in their head, oh, he's pretty good the last couple of seasons. He's been pretty good. We could use a big body in the playoffs. Like, you got to get him before he really crashes and burns. And he hasn't looked that great since he's come back.
I think right away off of IR, he was like fired up and he was playing really, really well. And the last couple of games especially, tonight, like, I don't know, he had that one play where he's like almost deflects it into the net and then he's trying to get it off the top. Like, the whole thing was just weird. I didn't notice him as much tonight, but like the Toronto game and the first Tampa game, I thought he was actively bad.
Yeah.
Now, overall, I think he's probably a fine defenseman, and I do think you need guys like Risto. My thing is, at this point, though, He's 31 years old, and he's had major injuries the last couple of years.
What is guys
You
like
got to
Risto?
move him before he's hurt again. Like, I wish if he could stay healthy, you could keep him around. He'd be a big physical veteran defenseman for you. Cool. Whatever. You're overpaying him a little. Live with it. But he, like, gets hurt so often, you can't take advantage of what he is.
I was going to say, you need guys like Risto. Like, what is guys like Risto at this point? Like, is it just big? Because,
Big,
like...
can use his reach and his physicality to kill plays.
The physicality, I don't really think is there.
I thought this is the most when his first like week or two off of IR.
Yeah, he was throwing hits.
I thought it's the most physical we've seen him since Buffalo, and it's dissipated a bit. And that's like part of I think he's just riding the momentum, like happy to be back, fired up, like. Yeah, man, the best game I ever played was the first time I got called up to varsity because I was like flying. You know, like that. It's like that kind of mentality. You're just so happy to be back or up or whatever. And it's kind of leveled off since then. I do think like he can play a role. It's in probably your third pair, but there's no way to take advantage of it if he never plays.
That is correct.
All right, and with that, we get to super chats.
Oh my Lord.
We
look at
got
all
a
these
bunch
super
of them
chats.
because you people are all nuts. After that game, we love you so much. Appreciate our listeners.
Nuts is complimentary.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're Flyers fans. You're obviously insane. You've stuck with this team.
What do you think we're doing?
All right. Yeah, that's all right. From Obi, he leads it off. Does it really count if our first back-to-back loss was to the same
I thought
team?
It was the first back-to-back.
I thought they've done one other one in regulation this year. It was in like, I'll find it, but
Also, no, it doesn't count. This is like 1.5.
this is so
regulation
weird
losses.
to have the same team
It's so
consecutive
weird.
games
At home.
both at home.
It's like some AHL.
Like this is only like COVID stuff. Like when it was
Yeah.
like in the NBA we called it duplexes because they're not home and homes.
No.
It's two homes in the same place.
yeah.
So it was a duplex.
That's good.
I'm looking. There had to be. Those were all in overtime. There it is. Calgary and Toronto. The first and second day of November, they lost at home.
I don't know
in
why I would doubt
regulation.
you. As if I would remember something.
All right.
That's
Next
funny.
one is Adam. Is this Adam S. or just a different Adams? I can't tell.
Who can say?
Disappointing loss tonight. Probably lots of new eyes after the Eagles lost, but they didn't give much reason to new fans to give hockey a chance. At least we got the fights at the end, I guess. But yeah, this is always one of those opportunities.
The Flyers love to do this.
They love to, yeah. Also, like, Tampa's really good.
Tampa's
and
good.
now they've won 10 in a row. They're the best team in the East playing their absolute best hockey. Tough one.
Way she goes.
Way she goes, as they say. All right. David Shub joins us, says the organization needs to stop being a kumbaya love fest. If veteran players can't pull the power play together, maybe they need a change of scenery.
See, I got a lot of thoughts about this, and I wanted to bring them up when Charlie was on the phone, but I didn't want to derail the show. I think that Charlie's saying, like, we don't have this piece, we don't have this piece, we don't have this piece, because they're not trying anything creative. Like you've said 1,000 times, put Grebenkin in front of the net.
Just put Grebenkin in
Why
front of the
not?
net.
See what happens. They don't seem willing to do anything like outside of the box to try to fix this. Maybe we do have the pieces, and you just haven't identified them because you won't try something weird.
I'll tell you, in the 6-on-5, Michkov had a bunch of good tips in front of the net. Now, the thing is, I kind of want him, like, shooting the puck.
Well, maybe not this year.
But maybe this is, he's got one goal since
Yeah.
the beginning of December, and it was an empty netter, so maybe that's the best spot for him. But they do need to just try something else.
Yeah.
Like, this clearly, whatever this is, ain't working.
No.
In terms of, like, the veteran players, I just don't know who, like,
Who? Coots?
Sanheim, Coots, and Konechny
Konechny?
aren't getting traded
That's it.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like,
Those
I don't
are the
know.
dudes.
They're not trading TK. They're not trading Sanheim. If they can move Coots, that would be great. He's got a no movement clause, and he's wildly overpaid. He hasn't scored in 16, 17 games.
Yeah, I think he likes it here.
All right. Next one is David again. Front office needs to make an example out of a player, maybe Tippett. I think you don't
I think-
trade a guy at this point.
No, you can't just
Like-
dump a guy for nothing. And I think they'd be willing to make a hockey trade if one
Yeah,
presented itself.
I think if they got what they thought was fair value, but like at this point where they are, they don't have enough pieces to just give some away.
No.
Like I just don't think that serves any purpose other than like make you feel good for a couple of hours.
I don't even know if it would do that, honestly.
Yeah. Obi again says, good to see Gensel TK chirps live on. It was
Yes.
This is a hell of a slash. I love how like some cross checks get called, some don't that are exactly the same. And another game where a dude just throws a purposeful slash and maybe he gets called. Maybe we take both guys, but it is good to see these two teams mix it up.
Do we have to do overtime?
Oh yeah, we got to go to overtime. Go to allphly.com to finish watching today's show. It's David again. If you're going to get your ass kicked, kick some ass. Oh, I very much think this team should win.
Flyers motto.
Win or fight. That was also my senior year of high school. My D partner Brian and I said we're either going to win the trophy or fight.
Run them up or...
Was it fill them up or... Yeah.
Something run them up or...
Yeah, I can't remember.
I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
somebody pay $1 and tell me which words he says.
We didn't win the championship. I'll tell you that. All right, from Deedle Nick. That's good. I always thought of Grebenkin as a sparkier kind of Lawton, but watching him laugh after taking straight knuckles to the forehead made me quite happy.
He's a bit of a lunatic, and I
really
like
Grebenkin. Maybe he's only a fourth liner. That's what Charlie said, just in terms of what he thinks the ceiling is, but. I want to give this guy a little bit more of a chance and see what we have. And if he just ends up being like a character fourth liner with a little bit of skill, you do a lot worse.
Run him up, fill him in.
Run him up, fill him in. That's what it is. All right. From VO Noob. Dog days of the schedule. They were bound to have a stretch of clunkers. And like we said pregame, that's kind of what the East is this year. You look at everyone's record and like, yeah, man, look at Tampa. Outside of, like, they've had a 5-7 and now a 10-game win streak.
Yeah.
And, like, the rest of the time, it's like, oh, man, they won 2 of 6, huh?
I mean, like Charlie said, like, these last 2 games have been trash.
Yeah.
But there haven't been many super trash games in the last couple of months. You know what I mean?
No, there haven't.
We were having a lot of fun last week.
We were having a tremendous time, like, just a week ago,
right.
Tuesday. Now, what, 6 days ago? All right. David says, 2026, the year of Hinks. More Hinks, please. Listen, I would love to have Kelly every day.
Capitalism is the problem.
Yeah, the real problem is the world.
I'm forced to work for wage.
It's truly unfair.
It is.
All right. Next one is Barry Schaefer. Even the games they win, it's predominantly goals off the rush, albeit not at last year's pace. Tampa is physical, but it applies to most games. I think they've had a good mix. I think they've started to be able to score with possession a little more, but it's taken time. That's why, like, listen, beginning of the season, they were getting 1 goal on 18 shots. Like, that's what it looked like. Since mid-November, they're over 3 goals a game. Right now, they're in a little bit of a slump. It's going to be an adjustment period for this team. And if Michkov ever wants to get going, that would be super.
That would be great.
All right. Next one here from David. Missing person alert. Matvei Michkov. Yeah, it's been bad, man.
The intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, what was it? Over 16 minutes tonight, 2 shots on goal. My note was, did he play? He looked good in the 6-on-5.
I saw him mess up a few times. I just don't understand what's happened to his brain. That's what really worries me.
I think he's just in one right now. He's just stuck in the mud. That's where he is. And I don't know if he's going to get it back this year. And that's just something I've decided I'm okay with.
I love that for you.
I'm
freaking
I
out.
want to see him get it going after the Olympics. Like, I better not see any posts from Dubai
I swear to
in
God,
February.
Don't let me see a picture of you on an island.
I
will find you.
I think it was Johnny Manziel pre-recorded stuff. Like, he went to Vegas over his bye week or something, but like pre-recorded things of him like working out in Cleveland. Like, do that if you're going to go on.
Don't give him any
like,
ideas.
at least trick me. You know?
Yeah, don't post if you're on an island. That's all I can say.
At least trick me.
No post.
That will upset me.
Yes.
All right. Next one here is Keegan. Look at the Marty St. Louis quote about not overcoaching Demidov. Feels like Tocchet's doing Mish disservice and is killing his creativity. TOI aside.
Don't get me started.
What have you seen out of Mish that makes you think, like, he's not doing anything that makes... He's just playing bad. Like, it's okay to say he's playing bad. I don't think he's going to play bad forever, but I don't think this has anything to do with coaching. He stinks right now. Every time he touches the puck, he turns it over. That's not coaching. The coach isn't telling him get poke checked.
No.
Like, I'm going to tell you that right now.
What if he's got it in his head in some way, though?
Then he needs to get it out of his head and start scoring goals. The best way to not be overcoached is show the coach you can do what you're doing. You think he's overcoaching Trevor Zegras, Mr. Michigan? Are you scoring? Are you trying to win hockey games? Are you trying to, he said the same stuff to Z, and guess what happened? Z put in the work and is really good this year. I really have trouble blaming Tocchet when the guy has 1 goal in a month.
He doesn't.
And it's not on a goalie.
He needs to be better. There's no getting around.
All right. And the last one from Barry. Would you rather Rocky Thompson or Kevin Patullo? No. All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. with our only studio, or our only 4 p.m. show of the week.
When was the last time you had 4 p.m.?
We've had 2 in a month, I swear. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Thank you, as always, to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.